Oh, welcome back to another episode of the ACC Insider Podcast here on the Field of 68 Media Network. My name is Rob Dauster. That man you see there with me is Jeff Goodman. And in about 5 or 6 minutes or so, you're going to be hearing from Andrej Stojaković, who has been a little bit of a breakout star for the Cal Golden Bears this year, Jeff. He's averaging 17 points. He just had 20 in a big win for Cal at USC. We talked to him about growing up with the last name Stojaković and a basketball family. We talked to him about playing for a coach who might have been on the other side of a rivalry from his father back in the day. And we talked to him a little bit about what life was like for him growing up in Greece. A fun interview and a really, really nice kid.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Excited to for people to kind of get to know him. And obviously, you don't see somebody going from one Bay Area school to another very often.
Unless you're the head coach of Cal. That's the guy that
Well,
knows how
that
to
is the
do.
crazy part. Okay, so
Mhm.
he goes from Stanford to Cal, and the Mad Dog, Mark Madsen, obviously graduated from Stanford and is coaching at Cal. Just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. All right. So this is a really important week. It's more than a week. It's a really important 11-day stretch for everyone in college basketball, and the ACC is no exception. You have all of the NTEs. This is Feast Week. Feast Week starts on Thursday afternoon. That's when you get some of the Charleston Classic stuff, some of the Legends Classic stuff, some of the early events the weekend before Maui. And Notre Dame. The ACC is no exception. There are a whole bunch of ACC teams that are playing in these MTEs and playing in these tournaments, and this is going to be a week, as much as any, where that kind of shakes out the hierarchy of these leagues, right? It kind of determines who is going to bump up their net a little bit, who's going to land these big wins, where is the rising tide going to lift all of the ships. I'm going to roll through a couple of them here just to kind of get it on everyone's radar. And for the record, if you are an ACC fan, you want to root for all of the ACC teams that you're going to hear in this list. Miami's in the
Yeah,
Charleston
but
Classic.
can if you're okay, I agree with that to some extent. But if you're a Duke or a Carolina fan, can you really root for Duke or Carolina? If you're a Carolina fan, are you rooting for Duke? Like I just don't think you can go there, Rob.
That's the one exception. But if you're a
Yeah.
Carolina fan, like you probably want Clemson to win the Sunshine Slam. And if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are a
all that.
Louisville fan, you probably want NC State to win the Rady Children's Invitational. So I'm going to roll through these real quick.
Yeah.
Miami's in the Charleston Classic. That starts this week. Syracuse is in the Legends Classic. That's a four-teamer that starts this week. Virginia is in the Baja Mar Hoops Classic. Pitt is in the Greenbrier Tip-Off.
Yeah.
BC's out in the Cayman Islands. North Carolina's in Maui, Clemson's in the Sunshine Slam, Virginia Tech, the Fort Myers tip-off. SMU is playing the Holiday Invitational. They get Cal Baptist in the first round. It's a little bit of a tough break for them. Louisville's out in Atlantis. They get Indiana in the first round. That's a big one. That's one that you got to circle. That's one that I think we're going to be talking quite a bit about on the field of 68. Wake Forest is down in the ESPN Events Invitational in Orlando. NC State, like I mentioned, is in the Rady Children's Invitational out in San Diego. Florida State is playing the Hall of Fame Showcase in Mohegan Sun, and then Notre Dame is in the Players Era Festival. I did not list Duke there. Duke is they are playing Kansas in Las Vegas. It's not quite the same kind of MTE as some of these other tournament ones. If you had to circle one that is the most important that you're going to be keeping your eye on, who would it be?
I think it's probably Louisville to me. Because I just don't think we know where Louisville's going to go at the end of the day, right? Like this could really be a major determining factor for the league if the Cardinals do well. They open with what, Indiana?
So that's an important one, and part of the reason is because they want to be on the winner's side of the bracket there.
Yeah.
If you beat Indiana, not only do you get the Indiana win under your belt, but you're probably playing Gonzaga in the semifinals. You lose and you get West Virginia. You play Gonzaga, you're going to either get Arizona most likely or the winner of Oklahoma Providence, which is a better result than what would probably be losing to Indiana, playing West Virginia, and then maybe playing like a Davidson. So you want to
Well, because
be,
then you could go 2-1, but you got nothing. You got no
yes,
teeth to it. Like you need
yes.
a resume win if you're Pat Kelsey in Louisville.
Yes, and the best way to get resume wins and to be able to give yourself a chance at
You're
picking up a couple of them
trouble.
is by winning. North Carolina is in an interesting situation. They play Dayton. The
Yep.
other quarterfinal on their side of the bracket is Auburn, Iowa State. So there's a very real chance if they lose to Dayton, North Carolina could end up being 0-2 heading into the seventh place game in the Maui Invitational, which is not someplace that they want to be. I had two circled. It's Virginia and
But
Syracuse. Virginia draws Tennessee in the first round of the Baha Mar Hoops Invitational out there in the Bahamas. And that's going to be a brutal match. Tennessee is a really good team. And if they win, they get the winner of Baylor and St. John's. And I think this is going to be. We've seen Virginia beat Villanova. They've had a couple of decent wins, but they haven't quite been what they were expected to be under Tony Bennett, right? Like Randolph Childress, T.O., everybody had them second with Tony Bennett coaching. So this is going to be a really good test for what Virginia is under Ron Sanchez this season. And then Syracuse in the Legends Classic. Obviously, Syracuse has gotten a bunch of wins. They have not quite been as impressive as you necessarily would expect from a program like Syracuse. They get Texas, which is a game that they can win. And if they beat Texas, in all likelihood, they get Texas Tech in the final of that game. And if you can find a way to win both of those, all of a sudden you go from like, man, Cuse is just like squeaking out the double overtime against Youngstown State in the dome. Like, that's not good to, oh, wait a second. They just landed two top 30-ish kind of wins. Texas Tech is number 9 on KenPom right now. Like that, the Red Raiders might be real. So this is a big weekend, I think, for the two of the teams
listen,
that
it
wear
starts
orange.
Thursday. It starts Thursday. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, if you look at it and you're an ACC fan, you say to yourself, like, I am scoreboard watching all of, and I'm gonna be at the first game. The first game is Miami Drake, right here in Charleston. Miami's got to win that
Oh,
game.
are you in
Has
Charleston? I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. You were going through all those great places that all the ACC teams are, and where are you going to be?
On my couch, exactly where I need to be, watching all of these games.
I hope it snows. I hope it snows in Jersey.
No, it won't. It actually, we literally just had an outdoor baseball practice at 6 o'clock at night. Like global warming is hitting us like crazy right now. But I will say this: I absolutely love Feast Week, and what I used to do, like way back in the day, was I would do like the New York tour, and I would go through and I would build out a schedule, and I would like 11 straight days on the road, go to all these Legends Classic, go to the Barclays Center Classic, go to the Hall of Fame Classic, the preseason out. Like I would hit all of those games in the New York area, and I stopped doing it. You know why? Because this week is as much fun as like the first week of March Madness, as championship week, as anything. Because you got wall to wall hoops starting at noon, going until midnight for basically 11 straight days. And
Yeah.
uh, when you get that much basketball on, like I love going to games, but you know what I love even more? Sitting on my couch, having the two TVs going with the laptop screen open and having my other monitor going, watching 4 games at once, just completely overwhelmed, too many screens, too much information overload, and I love every second of it, man. This is what we do. This is the entire reason we got in this business, so we could sit on our behinds on a couch at Thursday, at noon on a Thursday, and watch basketball and say that we're working. That's why we do this, Jeff.
Yeah. Another Pittsburgh you mentioned. I know they opened with LSU.
Wait a second, Rob. Just shut it, man. Shut it
Just
off
shut
it,
up.
Rob.
Let's move on. Let's move back on. Yeah, Pittsburgh's another one that I think, again, for me, it's like we know Duke's going to be really good. Obviously, they have a great stretch coming
All
up,
right,
and they got
let me ask you this about Pitt. Are you buying them? That's the one where it's like I'm trying to
I'm
decide
not
how
sure
much I'm
yet.
in.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold yet. They haven't really put, they beat West Virginia, but I don't know how good West Virginia really is at the end of the day right now. To me, I don't know. Listen, Jeff Capel's done a hell of a job the last couple of years, and to me, again, when he had his kind of down years early, there were some things that were clear as to why that weren't really in his control. So I think Jeff Capel, when he's had stability in the program for the most part. He's been able to be successful, so I'm not betting against him.
Yeah, I think they are for real. And if they are for real, then they're gonna beat up on LSU and they are gonna go and they're gonna beat Wisconsin.
They're
And
going to beat LSU. They're going to
yeah,
beat LSU. You
they better
watch.
beat LSU. And
Yeah.
then if they beat Wisconsin too, like that's gonna be when everyone's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
aware, our
That's
eyes
right.
are open. We have awoken to the power of Panther Nation. Listen, Jeff, this has been fun, but I'm tired of talking to you. Let's go bring on
Likewise.
Andrej Stojaković. And now let me welcome on to the ACC Insider Podcast, Andrej Stojaković, fresh off of a 20-point performance and a win at USC, bumping him up to 17 points per game on the season. Andrej, it's good to have you here, man. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Dude, I'm always good. It's a little rough when I got to see Jeff this late at night, but I'll make an exception when we can get a guy on here that just scored 20 on the road in a game at USC. So
How you doing? So my first question to you is what's it like going from Stanford to Cal? Like it's not something you see every day, Andre. And like how tough was it to I mean, obviously it was easy from a sense of you're not going that far. Uh,
Yeah.
but was it all weird?
It was weird at first. People always asking me why would I leave a place like Stanford for the people that don't follow sports. Um, but other than that, the program has done a great job of making it a smooth transition for me. From the staff, people that work for the school, they've done great. They've helped me so much. So
So you go from Palo Alto to Berkeley, man. Is there just something about Northern California you can't resist? You just got to stay in that area?
I mean, this time around in the portal, being close to my parents, they live in Sacramento. It wasn't that big of a factor, but what Coach Madsen and the rest of the staff had to offer, it was a win-win.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Obviously for you, last year probably wasn't the year that you thought you were going to have, or the year I thought you were going to have, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
I thought it would be a little bit quicker transition, but again, it's not easy for freshmen. What was it like for you coming in, as a McDonald's All-American, as a guy that is considered, we'll get to the elite shooting soon because you're still
Yeah,
not shooting as high percentages as I think you're going to.
yeah,
But what was last year like for you overall?
yeah. I think just going in with certain expectations laid on me, and I was trying to block everything out. I think I was put in a position where I got to play a good amount of minutes for a program that was still trying to find a way into being competitive. Um, and I think just the uncertainty of the minutes I was gonna get was something that I was trying to deal with throughout the course of the year. Um, but the external pressure never got to me. I thought that when I played a large amount of minutes, I performed to what I was expected to do from the staff and the program. But just going into Cal and having a more consistent role and having the confidence instilled from the staff has been huge so far. So I'm glad it's worked out so far.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned external pressure. For people that are listening that don't know, your father is Peja Stojaković, who
Yeah,
played for the Kings, who was an all-star. So I gotta imagine when you were growing up, once people realize, when you're a kid, who your dad is, there is already going to be a level of expectation on you as a basketball player. Did that kind of prepare you for, stepping into a program like Stanford as a McDonald's All-American and kind of carrying that, that five-star label can be a blessing, but it can also be a burden for some guys. Were you prepared for that coming in?
yeah. I mean, I think one thing I'm very thankful that my parents never forced basketball on me. I think they kind of let me find it for myself. And, when the work started paying off and everything kind of came together in high school, getting that label of a 5-star and an All American, obviously people are going to, try to go after you, especially at the college level. People are having 50 years and 60 years, and they're always trying to go at the freshmen. I think overall I was kind of prepared for it, but as a freshman, I think everyone goes through those things where it's like, you kind of deal with things as they come. You can't really prepare for them properly.
So you were born kind of in the run of the peak of his powers, shall we say, right? At what point did you kind of come to the realization that like, oh yeah, my dad isn't just like my dad. He also happens to be this like really famous basketball player.
Yeah, I think growing up, moving to the States at a young age and just being around a locker room environment in the NBA, I always kind of thought that I wasn't living a complete normal life, but it didn't really wrap around my head that my dad was who he was until later on, as I got older, I would say in middle school. But yeah, I think obviously not really being able to remember his games or specific moments of his playing career, but as I got older and learning more about what he did and what he did for the community back home in Europe, I kind of got a better head on my shoulders.
What's he doing now, Andre?
He plays tennis for fun.
Wait, no pickleball? Come on, he's getting
No,
older. No pickleball.
he loves tennis. He hasn't gotten into pickleball yet or golf, so it's tennis for now.
Just tennis.
Yeah,
That's a good life. That's a good life at this point.
for sure.
What's the biggest thing that you learned from him? Was he a hands-on, dad who I know you said he wasn't pushing you, but was he a hands-on dad who was out there with you and that's where you got your shot from? Or
No, like I think I was always outside playing soccer with my friends when I lived in Greece and when I first got to the States. And then I think when COVID hit and there was nothing really to do, school was online and I was just outside in the backyard. That's when he kind of took the wheel and started. You know what? If you really want to do this, I'm here for you, whatever you need. So I think that's where it kind of started.
I think what's really interesting is that, the height of the Kings Lakers rivalry, like in that 2000 to 2003 range. That
Yeah,
was when your dad's playing with like Chris Webber and Mike Bibby. I think Jason Williams is there at some point.
yeah,
And Mark Madsen, your coach, was on the Lakers team there. Is that
yeah.
how did that recruiting process go when he calls up your dad and says, "Hey, remember me? I was the guy on the other team when you guys hated each other."
Yeah, yeah. When he came for the home visit in the portal, there was a lot of laughs and stories shared, about those times. A couple of disagreements, but it was all out of love. But yeah, it was very like it was a pretty surreal moment having Coach Madsen and my dad facing each other on either side of the family room and talking about those stories. It was pretty crazy for me.
yeah,
What's he
probably just
like as a coach? We know him as the human, like he's done interviews with us and he's not like a lot of the other coaches. What is it like being coached by him and playing for him?
Um, to be honest, in my opinion, he's such a great coach when it comes to transparency with his players, what he expects from you. Um, he he tells you how it is. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Me and him, we go through film and asks asks me what I think during games and vice versa. And he tells me what he expects from me the next time going forward. And I think it's a very hands-on approach in terms of being able to have those uncomfortable conversations with his players and talk about the future as a team and individually. So
Were you there when he got his haircut at Media Day? Did you see
I
that?
was there. I was there. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. That was amazing.
Yeah, we had some downtime right when we ended, and he was like, "You know what? Let's go for it." So I was like, "Okay."
you didn't do it. You weren't cutting your hair, were you? Not
Hey,
there.
not there right after media day.
Yeah, I figured. I
It's
figured.
different. It's different.
Jared House says you and Rob Eson had the best hair on the team last year. Was a tough call between you and Eson.
Man, Rob Eason, we still talk every day. We talk so often. We had this tradition last year about in shoot around. We take a picture of the away team's stadium, and we send it to each other. So when we went to Vanderbilt, I took a picture of the stadium, sent it to him, and he went to Northwestern, sent it to me. So
That's
we
cool.
talk and share those memories together still. So yeah.
Hey, how big was that win over USC? Because, I don't think a lot of us know what to expect out of this Cal team.
Yeah.
You know, like I know what you can do. I know
Yeah.
what you should be doing and what you will do. But, I think you got a lot of guys on your team that, kind of under the radar players. How important was that win for maybe even I don't want to say like the confidence, but maybe to know you could beat a really good team like USC.
Yeah, going into the year, strength of schedule was a big thing for us. Going into the ACC, realizing the type of teams we're going to have to be playing, and just getting used to that level of play. We have a pretty good non-conference schedule so far, and I think those type of wins and even losses will help us prepare more for ACC play. And like you said, we have guys coming from all over the place. We don't have the highest expectations going into the new conference, but we believe in the game plan that Coach Madsen has for us. We believe in the work we put in and the trust we have for each other defensively and offensively. And I think that win, it kind of proved that we can hang around with the Big Ten teams. And going into ACC play and the ACC SEC challenge we have coming up, we know what it takes to prepare for those type of games. So yeah.
What's the next step for you as a player? Like, where do you want to see your game develop maybe throughout this season and heading into the future of your career?
Yeah. Obviously, I believe I can always get better defensively. One thing me and Coach Madsen have kind of talked about is being more of a playmaking / initiator. Just for when we play bigger teams, bringing the ball up, initiating the offense, and being more comfortable in those types of scenarios where I have to make the passes and plus ones and throwing the lobs to our bigs. I think that's one of the main focuses going on to this year.
All right, man. I'm gonna get on you now. 25% from three. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Come on. I said a couple years ago when I saw you on the circuit, like, this dude might be the best shooter in the class. So, like, come on, we got to get that number up.
No, 100%. I agree. Yeah, that's something that along with everything else that we work on, consistency is a big thing for me this year. And shots aren't falling the way I would like to. Me and my dad talk about it all the time, every day. Just being able to trust my shot. Staying confident in how much work I put in, and in my opinion, the next shot's the best shot, and it's gonna fall in.
Is it a confidence thing at all for you now, or no, it's just not falling?
I would say last year it was confidence was a big thing for me, especially at the free throw line. I struggled a lot last year, and this year going into it, I've made more free throws than last year already through 4 games. I think just keep on playing the games and getting shots up. I think the percentage will go up. So.
What kind of advice did your dad give you for the cross country travel you guys got coming up? Obviously, when you play in the NBA, you're going coast to coast quite a bit. You
Yeah.
guys are going to have to make some trips all the way to the East Coast.
Mhm.
Not an easy thing to do on short rest and
Yeah.
in short weeks.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is staying proactive with taking care of my body and off the court work, whether it's school or anything else. Dealing with family obligations, but being proactive with everything when it comes to treatment, getting the proper rest. The program is doing a great job of getting us across country on time a couple of days before, so we can get acclimated. Having proper practices and shoot arounds over there. But yeah, it's going to be hard this year, but we're ready for what's to come.
How often do you get back to Greece?
Every summer to go visit the rest of my family. Yeah.
They're all what part of Greece?
Somewhere in Athens, somewhere in Thessaloniki, where I was born. My mom is from. So yeah.
And you lived there till you were how old?
I lived there from 2011 when my dad retired to 2015.
What do you miss the most about it?
Just being able to talk to my family members, proper time zone. I don't have to, think about calling them at a certain time throughout the day anymore. So yeah.
When you said you played soccer growing up, what position were you?
Man, I was an attacker, but I was so tall and skinny that headers are my only thing that I was working on. Play a little bit of defense, but it was growing up. It was all just fun and jokes with my friends. I never took anything serious. I was never really. I always had the dreams of being a professional athlete, but never took it serious to the point where I was actually thinking about what a lifestyle like that could look like until recently. So
Yeah, because all those
All right,
soccer
I'm going to
players
give you.
are like 5'11", right? I mean, you see them running around there; they're too quick for you. You would have been Peter Crouch. That's who you
yeah,
would have been.
yeah,
Do you know who
exactly.
that is?
Yes, I do.
Who's your favorite soccer club? You got to give me one.
Soccer club.
Yeah. Who do
I
you
love
support?
watching. I love Bayern Munich. Um, I try to catch mostly Premier. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Um, I mostly catch Premier League games because that's what they play the most on TV. City's really fun to watch, um, but I love United. Um, so yeah,
Those are all the wrong answers. I don't know if you could see it right here. You know who that is? Tottenham.
yeah, Hotspurs
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not very good.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a tough life over here, Andre.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, ready? I'm going to give you three games. Tell me which one you're looking forward to the most this year. January 15th, you play. It's kind of cool that you play both. You play at Carolina in Chapel Hill on January 15th. Um, you play Duke in Durham at Cameron on February 12th. Then you play on February 22nd. I don't know if you've got that one circled. Do you know where that is?
That's Stanford.
Very good. Very good. So you know.
Yeah.
Give me which game you're looking forward to the most.
Obviously, the Stanford one is up there just because facing some of my old teammates, Maxime. It's all love over
And
there.
we loved it. By the way, we interviewed Maxime, and no disrespect to you, we interviewed like 140 players and coaches through all the media days we did. Rob and I will agree. First of all, Maxime is the smartest kid we talked to by
Yeah,
far. And
yeah,
like we could have talked to him all day. Like that kid is amazing.
yeah. Such a great kid and comes from a great family. When we had the foreign tour last year and visited his home in France, his parents were so welcoming and kind. They try to come out to the stage as much as they can, and they support Maxime so much. It's great to see, and me and Maxime still talk every day. It's
Do you have any good dirt on Maxime? You got any good dirt on?
No, that's one of those things where you can't really you don't have an upper hand on Maxime. He doesn't have any dirt. He thinks about everything he does.
Yes.
So yeah,
He's too smart. Hey, he's too smart, isn't he?
yes, yeah. He's very smart. Yeah,
All right. So Stanford, you're looking forward to playing. What about like going to Cameron, Duke? Like, you
of
got to be
course.
excited.
Yeah, one of my earliest memories of watching college basketball in the first place was that R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Zion team, and I always think back to that comeback they had against Louisville. I remember that so vividly. It was on TV everywhere, and that was probably the first game I've ever watched of college basketball. So going into that environment and kind of being recruited by Coach Shire out of high school, it's going to be fun.
That just made me feel so old, man. Like he said, my memories growing up were of Zion playing college basketball. That was like year 12 for me in this business. Listen, Andre, it's this has been fun, man. We really appreciate you making time for us for jumping on the podcast over here. Best of luck this season, and hopefully we're gonna, see you get that 3-point shooting percentage up a little
That's
bit.
right.
Your
Of
last
course.
name is Stojaković. You can't be under 30%, man.
No,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
like that you're going to the line. Like, I like that you're putting the floor and getting the line more. It's all going to come together.
Yes,
Like, to
sir.
me, it's going to help your outside shot as well. You're gonna end up having one hell of a career, man. I
Yes,
can't
sir.
wait to see, and really, really happy that you're